For my first film, I will be talking about Vicky and Sam, which was released in 2010. In this video, I will be talking about the technical codes that were used and understanding the codes and conventions. How does the film start? Vicky and Sam use a continuous crab movement so that we glide across the gravel pavement. This makes the audience wonder what type of film they are going to watch, because the gravel could be associated with lots of different things. For example, the gravel could show the grit of a working class area. Until it is very clearly revealed within the street the title of the film. As the title highlights, this is where the characters would meet, which is very suited for the romantic genre, as it highlights the type of characters and the type of area they grow up in, or even meet in. They use an establishing shot which uses a wide shot for the record store of a guy walking into the shop. This highlights that the characters are around a contemporary setting, and this may change due to the language and performance of the actors. However, we gather from the graffiti written on the wall that we will have a contemporary idea of a romance due to the music playing in the background of a violin quartet. This is also used to introduce one of the main protagonists, which is used for a medium close shot of a man parking his bike. This creates an enigma of what the man is going to be like. Is he young? Is he old? Genre codes and conventions. I know it fits the conventions of a short film because the focus is on two characters. It uses a twist in the storyline, there's dramatic music to highlight the romance, and conveys the information quickly with the images responding to the voiceovers of the directors telling the couple what to do. This film is a rom-com. Romantic comedy is a genre that attempts to catch the viewer's heart with the combination of love and humour. This is achieved with this film with the use of the camera, using close-ups to show how the lovers' eyes are interested and almost embarrassed of each other, highlighting the age of the characters because teenagers are mostly associated with being quite anxious. The use of the crab shot of the two looking at each other through a bookshelf also links to the conventions of a romantic film of the typical cheesy gestures. This subgenre is light-hearted, especially with the comedy, as the use of the editing using jump cuts to the directors disagreeing of the actions would then disappear the action taking place of Vicky and Sam. Also, there is an importance of dramatic relief when the two lovers kiss, because this is a clear symbolization of love. This would help for a target audience of around the world, because having an idea of seeing a kiss is a clear symbol of love. A romantic comedy film revolves around the romantic ideal, such as true love. In the end, the ideal triumphs over the situation or obstacle. However, this film differs because we are left hanging to see if the couple ever did get back together or not. Narrative. In short films, they have to deliver a dramatic arc by leaving multiple questions in a short space of time. So in this 13-minute film, it shows a single yet interesting section of a person's life. It was important about how they were coming up with the story and why the two lovers went to the record shop. It's important that we don't know the backstory of how they ended up there because we haven't got time. This was done so that the audience is intrigued on who the characters are and intrigued of how their relationship will grow, not looking back at their past. This is due to the fact of the certain amount of time to express a character's journey, so it is important to show the most important snippet that the audience can enjoy. The two significant characters in this clip are Vicky and Sam. Because they are the stories themselves, they are being created by the team of directors. And even though they don't speak, we are intrigued by what they will do next. They drive the narrative because they are showing their love for each other, and we can see them develop from their awkward moments of not even being able to look at each other to falling into each other's arms and the devastation when Sam leaves. The team of directors are just as important because it shows where the romantic actions come from and highlight the plot twist, which is evident for a good short film. The narrative clearly relates to Toradov with his theory of creating the norm and it then being distributed. This is evident in the film because they have the directors taking control of a relationship, telling the couple what they cannot do and taking it into their own hands. The narrative is presented in a linear way because we see the couple meet and fall for each other and progressively see it get stronger, and then they seem to break up because Sam runs away of fear. However, this film just has two narratives and shows how the director is coming up with a simple idea. It's not about the plots having multiple plots. By keeping it simple, the audience can get to know the characters more. The plot is revealed through the use of a voiceover. The director is talking over the footage to see what can be created, whilst also using jump cuts to show how something is inappropriate or that they disagree with each other, that should be suited for the clip. At first, we see the couple gesturing that they are interested. They tell the audience all the events, so the directors foreshadow the events of Vicky and Sam, which they have irony to. This makes the audience seem more controlled because they know what is going to happen. Especially when Vicky comes out of the toilet waiting for her lover. However, we know that the directors scared him off, which is quite sad and ironic in a way. The purpose of holding back information is so that it creates a climax and allows the audience to be unexpected, as it becomes boring if we know what events are about to occur. The enigma that is left is why the directors are coming up with the story and what will happen. This is very clever because the audience can come up with it themselves. We don't have to answer it. This is better because it allows the audience to use their imagination more. However, as an audience, we want to have a final conclusion, and it's sad that we can't find the answer about Vicky and Sam if they get back together in the end. The mise-en-scène. There is a low lighting to link to the darkness that is the directors and how the two can't have their own relationship. However, for most of it, it is a high-key natural lighting, particularly from the use of lamps in the restaurant that is above the characters, because it makes it seem more natural, and the bright and light style of the gestures between the two lovers. The editing uses a motivated cut when the girl leaves the bathroom, and we can see from the reaction shot of how the directors have ruined the relationship. The parallel editing or cross-cutting is to show the two locations of the director and the lovers, to show that they are going on at the same time, but can show how the two are completely different environments. The shots that are used most often are close-up, pan, wide shot and crab. Mise-en-scène is important as it can set up the location. The emotions can be evoked, and depending on the context of the scene, it can be heart-wrenching. The sound effects of a restaurant makes it more believable for the scene, as it creates a hustle and bustle around it, which differs from the carefree actions of Vicky and Sam. The incidental music of the use of the strings at the beginning creates a romantic environment, whilst using non-diegetic movement. This can also be referred to non-diegetic movement to show that this type of romance is created for film and could not really be in real life. The music is slow, and that is so we can see the romantic love for each other. The title of the film is written in a curly French handwritten style, which is usually associated with the posh love types who would write love sonnets to their partners. This links to the genre of love because it's very exaggerated, but differs from the time period set for the piece, as this style of writing would be best suited for a period drama. However, this can highlight the romantic gestures because of the romantic style of the film. It can occur with the events like the kiss on the bench or the DVDs. It actually differs from the modern couple, which is sweet because it can distinguish the genre of the film. The titles appear at the start and at the end of the film to show that this section has finished. There is no need to interrupt because there is no move in time or no change in setting. This was successful because they didn't need to focus on the writing and let the narrative speak for themselves. It showed that it had a typical beginning, middle, and end narrative. The stars are highlighted through the camera with the use of close-ups and the focus on cinematography. There was no need for typography because the main protagonist didn't speak. So, with the use of their acting and their eyes, we could clearly see that they were interested in each other. It didn't matter about clearing the time period or where they were. It was about the actual look of them themselves and the actual gestures and movement they were doing. Also, it made sense because the characters didn't speak, as the directors were the ones directing them in the end.